I cannot even tell you how many people have asked me to do this, because apparently this guy from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial reminds a lot of people of this guy. So here you go.
I'm an expert witness. I'm saying as an expert witness.
Let's start with the easy question then.
That was pretty easy. Go ahead.
Doctor, you're going to have to just answer the questions.
Okay, sorry about that. Having trouble getting into this side.
You need to just answer the question.
Okay. I'm not sure why we're arguing psychiatry, because I'm telling you what it is.
Dr. Siegel, you just need to answer the question.
Okay.
Mr. Depp fell asleep with ice cream in his hand. That's not vomitous, right?
I was told it was vomitous.
Okay.
It does fit just a little too well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The new opposing counsel is my dad.
Your dad is Robert Zane?
Is it so hard to believe that my father's black?
Robert Zane is black?
You think this is a year-round tan?
I know who you are, but I can't believe that your father is the Robert Zane and you never said anything to me.
I don't like people here knowing.
Oh, I'm just people?
Or something to that effect, but I don't remember the exact words I used.
But something
No,
to that
they
effect?
didn't.
Is it your testimony? Let me ask.
She gestured, I can't remember which one, to my face.
Bro, I fucking can't. I cannot. No, they did not. Fuck you. I could not.
Hello there and welcome back. Apologies for the technical difficulties and but we are back now. Unfortunately we stopped. We have to pause the stream where we had stopped, but yeah, essentially it's back on now. So let's resume the trial. This is when they were asking her whether she was menstruating. I believe that's where we stopped. So let's pick up from where we stopped. Leilani in this case, that she was being asked whether she was menstruating.
Was there a follow-up with these 3 cell phones that you all had taken that day?
Specifically Leilani's.
Can you tell me about that?
So at Chatham County Police Department, our system's called Celebrate that does the forensic extraction we talked about. Savannah Police Department, though, has a system that can do a deeper dive into the phone. It's called Grey Key.
I think we covered this before.
And what happened in reference to the defendant's phone?
Yeah, Detective Cox reached out to Savannah Police, and they did a Grey Key extraction of her cell phone.
And did that have something to do with the fact that it was an iPhone?
I believe so. iPhones like to be difficult.
Now, was there a follow-up done in reference to the Chevron/Azalea issue?
There was, yes.
Can you tell us, generally speaking, about that?
Yes, we went out and looked for video footage in that area. The Chevron gas station as well as Azalea Mobile Home Park both had cameras.
And when you say we went out, were you involved in that?
I was.
And what day was that?
That was on the 6th, the following day.
Now I see why you're aware.
So you were involved in the video cameras in that area?
Correct.
Were you there when they collected the footage that day?
I was not.
And was there follow-up in reference to the dumpsters and garbage trucks and ultimately the landfill?
Yes.
And who was the point person for that?
That would be Detective Noble.
Now, we heard some testimony yesterday from Special Agent Austin about the involvement of the CARD team. Can you remind us of what that acronym stands for?
Yes, it's the Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team, and we asked him to come down and assist.
Now, were you the lead detective for the Chatham County Police Department at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
And who was the lead for the FBI?
Agent Brad Snyder.
Did the two of you work directly with the CARD team?
We did.
And can you tell us about what that involved?
We wanted as much information and as many resources as the card team could give us. One of those things was a template for a canvas that our team did.
And what did the canvas operation look like? Where did y'all do those things?
So canvassing, easily broken down, was just knocking on every single person's door. We did Buckhalter Road, Garrard Avenue, into Azalea, as well as I-95 and Highway 204 area.
And what was the manpower requirement involved in this thing, this canvas operation?
We broke out into 3 teams, those 3 separate locations. Each team probably had roughly 30 law enforcement officers.
And how many teams now?
3.
3 teams?
So around 90.
Okay. And how many days did this canvas operation take?
I believe it took 2 days.
And did each encounter involve filling out a questionnaire?
It did.
And those are questionnaires Special Agent Austin talked about?
Yes.
And did they help you tailor those to this case?
Yes, he did.
I'd like to approach with an object that I do not intend to introduce into evidence, but I would like to just talk about it a little bit. And just to make the record clear on what this is. What is this here? What are we looking at?
This is binder 4 of my case file. It is the template canvas sheets that were filled out.
What size binder is that?
It is a 5-inch binder.
And roughly how many pages of interview form canvas questionnaires are in there?
700.
Intensive, comprehensive as well. Apologies once again, guys, for the technical difficulties. I'm still getting used to my setup. It's causing I believe that was a cable issue. It caused the computer to relapse and.
Did you guys also set up a tip line?
It was a blue screen of death, but it wasn't the
what is the tip line?
So we just used a extra cell phone, and we put up a voicemail advising people to call this number, or excuse me, we put about a notice advising people to call this number if they had any information on Quinton Simon's disappearance. And then a voicemail was set up asking whoever was calling to give us as much information, and we would call back if it was something to follow up on.
Was that something that was done on the advice of the card team?
Yes.
As part of the best practices in investigating a child disappearance or
Yes.
possible abduction?
Yes.
Tell me about the manpower involved in responding to tip line calls.
One of the detectives at all times was assigned to the phone and to follow up on each one of the voicemails that was left, to review them to see whether or not they needed additional follow-up.
Does the Chatham County Police Department have a dive team?
We do, yes.
Was the dive team involved in on October 5th, 2022, or the days following?
Yes.
What is the dive team?
So it's, I think it's in connection with Marine Patrol, but it's scuba divers who have the proper qualifications and do search and rescue.
And did the dive team do anything in this investigation?
Yes, they did.
Can you tell us about those things?
Yes. Behind the residence is a in-ground pool that had a layer of algae on it, and standing above it, you weren't able to see inside. So the dive team went in and made sure there was nothing inside the pool. As well as during our canvas, there's several ponds in the area, and they made sure to look through those as well.
I think you've already said that you did receive the defendant's cell right extraction from Sergeant Coleman of the forensics unit.
Yes.
And did you review the extraction of her phone?
Yes.
And did you find any evidence in her phone revealing anything about the state of her relationship with Danny Youngkin in the days, weeks, months leading up to October 4th?
Yes.
Can you describe that to us in broad terms, please?
Through their text messages, it was pretty apparent what kind of relationship they had.
Anything other than text messages?
There was some concerning web searches as well.
Any videos?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
There was a clip that was recorded on August 6th of 2022 where Leilani was blaming Daniel basically for the suicide that she was about to go commit.
Now, have we prepared a couple of exhibits capturing the things that you just described?
Yes.
Do you see in front of you an exhibit marked as States 18?
I do.
Can you tell us what this is?
It is a series of text messages between Leilani and Daniel.
And were those pulled from the cell brand extraction performed by Sergeant Coleman?
They are, yes.
Do you see a disc marked as States Exhibit 19?
I do.
What is that?
I believe it is the suicide video.
The video that you just described?
Yes.
And do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 20?
I do.
And what is that?
It is a web search that was found on her cell phone.
You are allowed to introduce these items in as States 18, 19, and 20.
Any objection, Mr. Hood?
With regard to 18, Judge, no objection. Is there 19 or 20? No objection as to 19. No objection as to, I think, the photograph. And no objection as to number 20, which is
Okay, so states exhibits 18, 19, and 20 are admitted without objection.
Your Honor, at this time I'll publish States Exhibit 18. And may I have a seat?
Yes.
Thank you. We have on the screen here slide 1 of States Exhibit 18. And what I'd like to do with this exhibit is just have you tell us the date of the message and read the message, okay?
So this was sent on 7/12/22. It says, I want to feel beautiful, not barely average. I want to feel loved, not just liked. I want to feel wanted, not just tolerated. I want to be able to look at you and know it's just me, not wondering how many others there are. I want to feel like my body is worth showing off, not like it's just been trashed from having 3 kids. I want to feel the way you made me feel in the beginning, like I'm treasured and safe, not like I'm just here because you really don't have a choice.
Slide 2.
Sent on 7/15/22. And I damn sure ain't the reason why you talk to other bitches in the first goddamn place or you put your dick in to begin with.
Slide 3.
On 8/6/22. Yeah, go get yourself some ass. I know mine is good enough. Never was, never will be.
Now, the video that's been introduced into evidence is States Exhibit 19. When was this video? Were you able to tell when the video was filmed?
Yes, we were.
Okay. What was the date that video was filmed?
On August 6th.
At this time, I will publish States Exhibit 19.
That does not look good.
I scream for help, and I don't get it. This guy, you are such a beautiful little girl. I wish I could watch you grow up. I wish I could hold you for your first heartbreak, because my mama didn't. Sky, I love you, baby girl.
Mention Sky.
And Zane, you were so handsome, so sweet, so protective. You were gonna be such a good man one day. Just a good man. I hope you grow up and you learn what loyalty is. And you learn how to treat a woman and how to love a woman. And
Quinton.
baby,
Mention Quinton.
you are the middle child. You're so happy all the time. You smile all the time. I wish I could see what kind of man you would be too. And Manny, I loved you. I loved you with all of me, all of my heart. I loved you. I worshiped the ground you walked on. When we found each other, we were both in such fragile states. And I built you back up.
Please mention Quinton. Mention Quinton.
I would do anything for you. But during this time that I was building you back up, you were doing things that would eventually tear me back down. And even now, after everything that I think has been brought to light, hopefully it was everything, right? Even now, you look at me with the same look in your eyes that you have when you talk about Caitlin. I don't hear the love in your voice anymore. I don't feel the love in your touch anymore. And I definitely don't see the love in your eyes anymore.
Did she say I don't feel the love in your dick anymore? Did she actually
But
say
you
that?
really love me, like you claimed you did. You wouldn't have done all that. Even when I was carrying your child and hating myself every fucking day, crying myself to sleep every fucking night because you did not want to have sex with me. You did not want to love me. You just did not want me. And I wanted you. I wanted you. I wanted you more than like yourself. But you've proven that it was only one way. That feeling was only one way. That love, that loyalty, it was all one way. You take care of my kids. Okay? You couldn't take care of me. You couldn't love me. You couldn't do me right. So please, for the love of fucking God, do my kids right. And I can't do it about the river now. Bye, Daddy.
All right, moving back to State's Exhibit 18, slide 3. So is it the case that that message on slide 3 was sent the same day that video was filmed?
Yes.
Slide 4.
This is on August 22nd in 2022. There's no being past it when you have done nothing to make me feel better about myself, when you have done nothing to make me feel like you still want me, like you did before, so stop.
Slide 5.
This is on September 9th. Hope you had fun with whatever bitch you met up with.
Slide 6.
Also September 9th. You can take everybody else's feelings into consideration, but you don't take mine. You can hang out with everybody else, but you don't want to hang out with me when I want you to.
Slide 7.
September 9th. I really fucking wish I never drove to North Carolina to meet you. That was the biggest mistake I could have ever made.
Slide 8.
September 9th. No matter how much I stress how I'm feeling, you don't give a shit. No matter how much I scream and cry, you don't change nothing. You say doing the same thing or being even more distant or hanging out with anybody but me.
Slide 9.
September 10th. You're the reason I'm angry every day. You're the reason I'm depressed, why I feel the way I do about myself.
Slide 10.
September 10th. When I was pregnant and moved down here for my kids, you chose other women or porn to satisfy you, not me.
Slide 11.
That's
September
harsh.
10th. When I need reassurance, you continue to change password to hide phones to have it on silent.
Slide 12.
These are both on September 17th, and they are requesting for Daniel to join Life 360.
So that text in the box, would that be text that she typed or more like a link that she sent in?
A link.
Requesting that he do what now? Reading those first few words.
Join my Life 360 circle.
Can you tell us how far apart these two invitations were in time?
24 minutes.
Slide 13. This one is exceedingly difficult to make out on the screen. So can you walk us through what slide 13 is?
So these are both on 9/18. Excuse me, all four of these are on 9/18, and they're all the same hyperlink sent to Daniel.
Separately?
Yes.
Slide 14.
Sent on September 21st. I'm tired of begging for sexual attention.
Slide 15.
Sent on September 21st. I'm not good enough to fuck. Not good enough to even try to fuck.
Slide 16.
Both sent on September 21st. No, I don't feel amazing. I feel like I'm a girlfriend that you got to hide your shit around because you don't want me to know what the fuck you're up to. I feel like I'm just the person that you keep around because you're comfortable with me, not because you want me. I'm tired of feeling like I'm sexually worthless.
Slide 17.
On September 21st. No, I don't know you love me. I know you're comfortable with me. I know you're used to me. I know you don't want me to love anybody else, but I do not think you love me because you do not want to have sex with me. You do not want to spend time with me if you do not want to do anything with me anymore.
Now slide 18, this one looks different from all the other ones, right?
Yes.
Was this one in fact taken from Danny's phone?
Yes.
But is it from the defendant?
It is.
And can we tell that because of the phone number and the way he has her saved?
Yes.
All right. And he had her saved as what?
Lonnie baby.
Okay. Now, can you read this message for us, please? Well, actually, let me ask you this. When was this one sent?
The day before Quinn's disappearance was reported.
Okay. What date and time specifically?
October 4th.
At what time of day? And look carefully before answering, please.
It's at 1:49 a.m.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and read it, please.
So I fell asleep on the couch for a min after I came back in. Woke up because Sky was starting to fuss. So I made her a bottle, right? Then as soon as I'm about to crawl into bed with you, I hear my phone go off. So I go to check it, and it was Life 360 saying, ask Daniel to charge his phone. So when I opened the app and saw that your phone was at 1%, I won't lie, it made me start to think again, and there is a possibility that I'm just overthinking. But here are what my thoughts were. He knows we gotta work in the morning. He was just on his phone literally right before he laid down. Why didn't he plug it in? Well, he said he wanted me to be nice, so I guess I'll plug it in for him. My dumbass literally grabbed the charger and then went to grab your phone, but guess what? What happened when I got to that point, Danny? I couldn't find your phone. I don't understand how you expect me to believe when you say I'm not doing anything wrong or I don't have anything to hide, when one, you never let me look at your phone without a fight, even when I offer mine in exchange. Two, you always 24/7 keep your phone on you when you're awake and hide it when you're asleep. And three, never leave it around me at all. SMH. Even when we have work, even when we have work and your phone is almost dead, when it's time to lay down, you still choose to risk it, possibly dying and us missing work. All because what? Because to me, it's because you have something to hide. Because why else would anyone do anything? Because why else would anyone do the things you do if they weren't hiding something?
Do you know what SMH means?
Shake my head.
And so this would have been in the middle of the night before the morning of the trip to the dentist?
Yes.
She reports Danny missing on the 3rd of October, 2022.
Was there an effort made to follow up on?
Doesn't mention none that inside
Yes.
Quinton.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 21?
So she reports Quinton missing on the 3rd of October, that 2022.
Yes.
What is that?
The top page is a certification of medical records from Aspen Dental. And then the following pages are the medical records from Leilani Simon's dental
The
work.
tally still be missing, by the way, but she goes on to do dental work.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would offer these in the States Exhibit 21.
No objection, Judge. It has an affidavit of business record.
All right, and 21 is exhibited, is admitted without objection.
We don't need to belabor this, but do these records show that she did in fact have a tooth pulled that morning?
Yes.
It's very possible that the child could be missing, and the child doesn't get killed probably until
Now,
the
during this
last
investigation,
day of being found. It's very possible.
With Michelle McCarthy.
She doesn't have to do
I
it
did.
instantly. That's what I'm saying.
Did you conduct interviews with her?
Yes, I did.
Did you conduct an interview with her daughter, Talia McCarthy?
Yes, I did.
And did you conduct some follow-up on Quinton himself?
Yes, I did.
Did you obtain his past medical records?
Yes,
And is this a normal step in a child death case?
it is.
Where did you yourself get medical records from?
The two search warrants I did were from the local pediatrics office. Well, locals in Georgia.
What was your goal in getting his medical records? To get some of them, to get all of them, what?
All of them.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 27?
Yes,
And do you recognize that document?
I do.
What is it?
It is a search warrant order for medical specialists in Waynesboro, Georgia.
What type of practice is that?
I believe it's a pediatric medical facility.
And how did you know to go there for Quinton's medical records?
I believe it was in interviews with Leilani, the family, as well as Billy Joe.
That's a past pediatrics clinic that he had been seen at?
Yes,
And did you send that search warrant to that practice?
yes,
And did they turn around to you his pediatric records from there?
yes, they did.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as States Exhibit 27. Okay.
Admitted.
Now, what is States Exhibit 28?
It is a order, an additional search warrant for some more medical records.
From what practice?
It's the J.C. Lewis Primary Health Care here in Savannah.
I thought J.C. Lewis was a car dealership. Is that not the case? Or?
I guess they have several buildings.
Okay. So they have a pediatrics clinic or indigent care clinic or something
Yes.
like that? Okay. And was that Quinton's last pediatrician?
To my knowledge, yes.
did you send them this search warrant?
I did.
And did they turn around his pediatrics records to you?
Yes, they did.
Your Honor, I would introduce this in State's Exhibit 28. Okay. Did any other detectives involved in this case get additional medical records for him at your direction?
Yes.
And who was that?
Detective Cox.
And did she provide the records that she obtained to you?
Yes, she did.
Did you incorporate all of the medical records you got into your case file?
Yes, I did.
And did you turn them over to our office?
Yes, I did.
So that they would be turned over to the defense as well?
Yes.
Now, do you see in front of you a document marked as State's Exhibit 23?
Yes.
Do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
It is a search warrant sent to Verizon.
And what number is it for?
It is for 912-547-5275.
Whose phone number is that?
Leilani Simons.
Did you send that search warrant to Verizon?
Yes, I did.
This is a search warrant you prepared?
Yes.
And did Verizon turn responsive records around to you?
Yes.
They gave you her phone records?
Yes.
Do you see a disc labeled State's Exhibit 24?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
It is the response I received from Verizon containing Leilani Simon's cell phone records.
Did Detective Cox also get some cell phone records in this case?
Yes.
Did she provide all the cell phone records that she got to you?
Yes, she did.
And did she obtain records from Life 360 directly?
Yes.
And did she provide those to you?
Yes, she did.
Were all of the phone records obtained in this case and the Life 360 records provided to the FBI for analysis?
Yes, they were.
And were the cell phone extractions, both the 3 cell right extractions and the 1 gray key extraction, were those provided to the FBI for analysis?
Yes.
I would introduce States 23 and 24 into evidence, Your Honor.
Your Honor, with regards to States 23, subject to the court's ruling regarding some of those text messages, we don't have any other objection other than that. What was 24 again? Let me reverse that. As to 23, no objection to the search warrant, Judge. As to 24, no objection, subject to the court's ruling on those text messages.
All right, thank you. 23 is admitted, 24 is admitted subject to the earlier ruling.
So that means because
Do you see
the
in
other
front of you a
ruling
document marked as States Exhibit 25?
is about the sexual nature of the text messages
What is that?
with the affair.
It is a
That wasn't admitted.
emergency situation disclosure from Verizon. It's a form they had us fill out.
Okay. And what was that form for?
It is for cell phone records.
What's the area code that you are looking for records for?
It is 706 area code.
All right. And whose phone number is that?
Henry Moss.
All right. What's the full number?
It is 706-526-1978.
And who sent this to Verizon?
Detective Wilkins.
Okay. And did he receive responsive records and provide them to you?
Yes, he did.
Do you see in front of you a disc marked as States Exhibit 25? I'm sorry, 26.
Yes, 26.
If you don't, just tell me.
I have 26.
Okay. What is that?
It is a response from Verizon for that phone number.
Your Honor, I would offer 25 and 26 into evidence at this time.
No objection to 25 and 26, Judge.
Thank you. 25 and 26 are admitted.
Have I formally offered 28, Madam?
I don't believe so. Madam Clerk has.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I just don't remember whether I actually offered it or not. When it's been admitted.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, you testified about the fact Special Agent Snyder went out and talked to Misty, right?
Yes.
And that you all did this video canvas at Chevron and Azalea, right?
Yes.
And I think you said that both of those things happened on the 6th or the 7th or something along those lines?
Yes.
On October 8th, did the defendant come to the FBI office in Savannah for an additional interview?
Yes, she did.
And who conducted this interview?
Bridget Brock.
Is she an FBI agent?
Yes, she is.
And did she come down from Quantico, Virginia for the purpose of interviewing the defendant?
Yes.
And were you present in the building for that interview?
Yes, I was.
And were you watching it in real time?
Yes.
Were you in the room?
I was not in the room.
How were you watching it in real time?
Through the security camera in the room. We put it up on the monitor and watched.
Okay, so you were watching on like a live feed from a different room?
Yes.
Do you know the video recording equipment in the interview room that the defendant was in to have been working during that time period?
Yes.
In fact, you yourself conducted interviews in that room with other people.
Yes.
And have you reviewed the videos from those interviews?
I have, yes.
And did those interviews fairly and accurately depict what was said between you and your subject?
Yes.
Do you see in front of you a disc marked as State's Exhibit 22?
I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you know what that is?
I believe it's the interview from the October 8th interview.
Now, has that one also, as with the October 5th interviews, been redacted to some degree to comply with orders of the court?
Yes, it has.
Does it otherwise fairly and accurately depict at least the relevant portion of Bridget Brock's interview with the defendant on October 8th?
Yes.
Now, footage showed her not stopping at the Chevron, but rather pulling into Azalea and remaining stationary at the dumpsters for 2 minutes.
Yes, she's directly confronted with that.
And what did the defendant have to say to that?
She says that that did not occur.
Did Bridget Brock tell her that Misty had been interviewed and had told the FBI that she hadn't seen the defendant that night?
Yes.
And what did the defendant have to say to that?
She says it did occur, that she did talk to Misty.
Did the earlier 204?
Yes.
And what did she say on the 8th about what the purpose of that trip was?
To pay off a drug front for marijuana.
And is that the same story she had told about it on the 5th?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, at this time I'm ready to publish this interview. It is, however, 12:25, and I will throw that out there before I do so.
How long approximately is the video?
I'd have to check.
Anyway, you expect it to take some time. So I'm going to turn to the jury. I know we started a little late this morning with taking evidence. Do you want to go through this at this point? We can go a while longer before we stop for lunch. That's what I'm thinking. All right. Why don't we continue on before we take a break? Does anyone need a comfort break at this time? I do. I was going to say, I think I do too. So, let's break for about 15 minutes.
Okay, so while the break, let me fast forward. I will take the opportunity to do a couple of stretches as well. But yeah, a couple of my thoughts here is that in that suicide message, I didn't hear.
Simon, come back in.
I didn't hear any
your
mention.
Attorneys at the table.
Let me wait for it to. I didn't hear any mention of Quinton and that was.
We're back on the record. Ms. Simon is with her attorneys. All counsel are present. So we're going to move into the video that you have. And is there anything that we need to do before we bring the jury in?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Please bring in the jury.
Okay, so I didn't hear Quinton be mentioned in the suicidal unaliving video. There was no mention of Quinton. There's and this was 2 months before Quinton was reported as missing. So that is important because inside you can probably guess that she is probably angry with the fact that he was born to cause all of this trouble. Or in my opinion, this works against her. That video really looks really bad because not just because of the content of itself, but also because of what it means in the overall meaning of the trial, that she could only mention two children, just two of them. That doesn't look good for her, and she is more concerned about Danny than Quinton in this case. So 2 months later, Quinton is missing on the 3rd of October.
And
that doesn't
members of the
again.
jury, were you able to comply
And she's
with
just continuing on with her life,
no discussion about the
getting
case and no
dentists,
research?
etc.
Okay, very
While
good.
Quinton is still missing.
Mr. Dean.
When we left off, I was asking you about State's Exhibit 22, which you identified as an October 8, 2022 interview recording of the defendant's interview with FBI agent Bridget Brock, right?
Yes.
And that was conducted at the FBI office in Savannah.
Yes.
Did the defendant come in willingly and voluntarily to talk to Special Agent Brock?
Yes, she did.
How was it arranged with the defendant?
I believe it was a conversation that we had on October 5th to do an additional interview later on.
And she didn't have a problem with that?
She did not know.
How did she get to the FBI office on the end?
One of the investigators drove her.
Okay. And was that in part at least because the car was still being held in evidence?
Yes.
Okay. And then after the interview with Bridget Brock, where did she go? The defendant, I mean, not Bridget.
She returned to the hotel room she had been staying at.
How did she get there?
I drove her.
Your Honor, at this time I would introduce 22 into evidence.
No objection, subject to the redactions.
Thank you. It's in, well, you may tender it.
Before I do that, I want to circle back and just publish one exhibit that I neglected to publish earlier, and that's State's Exhibit 20. Do you have that in front of you?
Yes.
Remind us again of what that is.
It is a web search from Leilani's phone.
All right. Does this document tell you when this search was conducted?
Yes.
And when was it conducted?
October 1st of 2022 at 1:10 a.m.
It comes to web searches. Oh gosh, what's the web search for this
And
one?
it says on here that the source is Safari.
Yes.
What is Safari?
An internet browser.
Mainly for iPhone.
And can you read into the record the text of that search?
Yes. Is
Game
it
over.
common for a mother to have resentment or even anger towards her child because of the father or another reason?
Game over. Yeah.
Now that said, I will go back to State's Exhibit 22 and publish this.
Game over.
Sometimes situations, listen to me, Leilani, sometimes situations happen and it's not meant, right? And people have situations they get in where they don't know what to do and they panic, right? And the night that before Quinton disappeared, right, you had a rough day, right? Yes, right. So your mom of three, that's stressful, right? You had your wisdom teeth taken out. You're hurting and pain, right? You still got to cook dinner for the kids. I understand you and Danny aren't getting along that night either, right? And sometimes people just get frustrated, right? And we do rash things, right? And things happen that we didn't mean to happen, right? And then we don't know how to deal with that, and we panic. And I know you know what happened. I don't know what happened. And I know you know where Quinton is. I don't know where he is. Right? I don't know where he is. And here's why I know, right? Because the story that you already told law enforcement, that you've got that story in your mind, and you've been rehearsing it quite a while. I mean, you were like spot on what you told the other people, right? And we've already analyzed data. Your 360, right? Your cell phone data, right? Where you've been, right? And there's inconsistencies who you talk to, right? Okay. Okay. All right. So we know you to go to the Chevron station. That was on the left 360. It shows where I pulled in and turned around. No, you didn't. But we know where you went. It shows where I pulled in and turned around. We know where you went because we have video screens. Yes, I understand that. Okay. And it's not where the Chevron is. It is. The Chevron is right next to it. No, Leilani. Stop. I mean, seriously, the Chevron is right next to it. Leilani, stop. You've gone off this story for a while now, and I know it's not true. It is. Leilani. That's where we're not going to make any progress unless I'm being truthful. This is Chevron. This is Zelia. That's where I pulled into. I turned around. I was only gone for 12 minutes. My baby was in the bed when I left that house. Leilani, calm down. We're not getting anywhere, right? We're going to get to the bottom of this. Yes. Right? But you have to be honest. I'm being honest. We know through video surveillance you were not at that Chevron. But we do know where you were at. I pulled into the Zelia and I stopped where I got the motherfucking orange. I pulled around and I told him that it was right next to Chevron, not at Chevron, right next to Chevron. So tell me that again. What did you just say?
She was making a reference there to what she had told you and Special Agent Snyder on the 5th, right?
Yes.
And what is she saying she had told you?
That it was right next to the Chevron.
The place that she met?
That she went to, yes.
Is that what she told you on the 5th?
It is not.
What did she tell you?
She told us that she met Misty at the Chevron, and she wrote it in her written statement.
More than once, right?
Yes.
And that was stopped at 3 minutes into the file, which is 12:32:40 on the timestamp in the bottom left corner of the video.
Pulled in, I got the order, turned around and went back home.
And how did you turn around?
Pulled straight around the neighborhood.
What neighborhood?
The one right next to Chevron. It's Azalea. Right next to it.
Azalea? And
yes.
What kind of neighborhood is that?
It's a trailer park.
It's a trailer park?
Yes.
Okay. And when you were in the trailer park, you pulled right back out?
Yes, I pulled it in and I pulled it out.
Okay, so why does video surveillance show you stopping?
Stopping to get the orange out.
Within the trailer park?
Getting the orange out.
You're not near the Chevron? in your story, you haven't been completely honest about where you were at and why you were there.
I was 100% honest about where I was at. I showed the Life 360. I told him I even gave him the Orajel that she gave me.
Right, and that didn't happen. We've already interviewed this.
I got the Orajel. That did happen. She got that lump on the side of her mouth. That's the reason why I asked her for it.
You have to stop saying this. It did not happen.
Yes, it did.
Right? And Lonnie, right? To get through this, you're gonna have to talk about what happened.
I'm told
and where you took
what happened.
and where you took Quinton.
I didn't take Quinton anywhere.
Okay.
I didn't take him anywhere. He was at the house. He was in that bed. I put his hair out of the station where I was in the bed. The only thing that I sit there and possibly made myself on is when I came back in after I smoked a cigarette and I may not have shut that door all the way. And that's why my baby made him buy some hair. That's the only thing I've been questioning myself about. I was looking at drugs in my system. I couldn't even fill my mouth. So I don't know if I locked that door and pushed it all the way in, but it was open when I got up. And I'm sticking to everything that I've said because I'm telling the truth. I questioned everything.
The door was closed.
No, that's what they say, but the door was open. And Danny said that when he left that the door that they said was open from 2:30 to 5:24 was shut when we left. I think my system was messed up. And that's what I told them because the door was open when I got up and my baby was not in that bed.
Lonnie, the door wasn't open.
Yes, it was.
And look.
Yes, it was. The door was open.
You said like you would never hurt or harm Quinton.
No, I wouldn't.
And in this circumstance, something happened.
No.
Right?
No, I did not. Nothing happened when he was in my care. I did not hurt him. I did not take him anywhere. I went to bed with that baby in that bed and I got up with him gone. Okay?
Okay.
Hey, I'm devastated. I'm sitting here being questioned. Now, last night, my own husband was questioning me, making me question myself. Well, did you shut that door? Are you sure you're not the reason that something could have happened? I mean, it's stuff like that.
Well, you keep telling yourself this story over and over. We're done with that story, right? And you can keep trying to convince yourself, but the evidence does not point to that, right? You try to put a timeline together to cover up.
I didn't try to put nothing together. I had
what happened that night, and you're the only one that can tell us what happened. And you said you told me.
I know, like I didn't even listen to my baby was shaking me.
Leilani, listen to me. You told me how you felt when you and your mom were abandoned on the side of the road. Right?
It was devastating,
right? So as a mother, look, we just want to find Quinton.
Yes.
Right?
We do. We all do. I've been asking help, searching everything.
And they have been. They're still out there searching, right? But you can help us find him. Right? I 100% believe that. You can help us find him.
He was in the bed when I went to sleep.
So when you left and you drove through the trailer park and you stopped for a while.
I just stopped for a while.
What was going through your mind?
I was going through my mind, get the seat, get the Orajel, because I did speak to her and I did get Orajel.
So you did not talk to Misty?
Yes, I did.
We've already talked about that.
I spoke to Misty.
And until you start being 100% honest with me, you're going down the same road, okay? We're not getting anywhere. You said you wanted to be healthy.
I do. Right? That's why I've done everything that I can, and I don't know where my baby is. Okay? I don't know.
Right? So
I did not hurt him, and I don't know where he's at. He was in that bed when I woke up.
Alright. So, what we do know is that when you pulled into the trailer park, you stopped. Right? I can't imagine what was going through your mind at that time. Right? Where you were trying to make a decision.
No, I stopped for, I was gone from the house for a total of 12 minutes. I stopped for 2 minutes. I was getting the Orajel from her.
Right.
Pulled around, and there she was.
You didn't see Misty.
Yes, I did.
You stopped for 2 minutes, so in that 2 minutes, you weren't getting Orajel for Misty.
Yes.
I know you were sitting there thinking about so that leaves another hole in your story, right? No, that's what he told me. Now he got a blind call and screaming and yelling, "Where's my baby? Where's my baby?" Now, that's not the case. Because we know that you know what happened. I do not know what happened. You do. I don't. Right? I don't know where he is. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know why the fuck he would be gone. He was in the bed when I went to sleep, and I went down and he was gone. I was freaking out, screaming, yelling, crying, calling the ambulance, searching my house. As many times as you repeat that story, it doesn't make it true. Right? But it is true. It's not true. It is. Right? And you talk about how much you love your kids. I do. I love them all, but that is true. And you want to help us find Quinton. Yes. Right? And you can do that. And I'm trying. Right? I'm trying. Which is why I get my phone. Which is why I that's property because I have been. I do not know where my baby is. And I wish I did because he'd be right here. Right. He really would. And if you really I'm being angry right now because I did not do anything with my child. If you really want to help us find Quinton, help me keep that promise with you. Tell us where he's at. I've told y'all everything. Y'all want to keep that promise? Yes, I'm keeping it because I've told y'all everything. I even gave y'all the only thing I have to track every single place that I've gone to. Every single place. For months I showed y'all where I went to. Months? Yeah, on that last 360. Oh, 360. Yes, it shows my route. We're concerned about. It shows my stops. I did not do anything with that child. He was in that bed when I went to bed. We're concerned about that night. Okay? Because of inconsistency with your story and evidence that shows otherwise, including the interview with Misty. You can say you talked to her all day long, but that is not true. It is. It's true you went into the trailer park, so we got videos of that stuff. It's true that I got the order from her because I have the order in the closet. It's true that you parked in the trailer park. I stopped for 2 seconds to get the order. You said 2 minutes. You know what I mean. Okay. I was going for a total of 12 minutes from the house. Right, and you stopped in front of the dumpster. No. Yes. Did I really stop next to it? No. I had to stop in front of it. That's the front of the neighborhood. Right there is the front of the neighborhood. Okay. I don't know what my baby is. Okay. So, we're putting together bits and pieces from what you originally told us with the evidence we've collected so far. I don't know where he is. You know where Quinton is. I do not. And you know what happened. I do not. I really do not know what happened to him. Right. He was in that bed when I went to sleep. I woke up devastated and I had a child there. He's normally the first one standing up. He's normally the first one standing up looking at you smiling when you get up in the morning. Look, Lonnie, I can't imagine how you felt that night, right? I'm not in your shoes. So being frustrated, being a mom, 3 kids, running a household, right? You're in pain, you're in an argument with Danny, I haven't been in that situation, but I think you can help me understand what that was like and what kind of got you to the point of really what happened in that house that night. Nothing happened, though. Nothing happened. Nobody thinks you're a horrible person. I didn't do anything. I didn't take him anywhere. That baby was at that house all night long, and I know. But given circumstances, things happen, and we don't mean for them to. Okay? Doesn't make you a horrible person. It makes you a human being. I don't know where he's at, and I want him home. I did not hurt him. I did not take him nowhere. The last time he was in that car was when I picked him up at 4:30 in the afternoon. And as a mother, going through this, like I said, sometimes things happen and we don't mean for them to. It doesn't mean anything was done intentionally. But like I said, you were going through a lot that night. I didn't hurt my baby. Okay? I don't know where he is. Being in that situation, sometimes people panic. That is my final answer to y'all's question. I did not hurt him. I do not know where he was. And the last person that told me that he 100% seen him in that bed when I called him and asked him where Quinton was Danny. That's my last thing I've got to say. Their story has not changed. I gave out everything that I could. I've gone through this over and over and over and over and over. I'm trying to explain to you that there's inconsistencies in your story. But I've shown everything. And is not me. It is absolutely you. And you can repeat that over and over and over again. It doesn't make it true. It's not me. It's not me. I did not do anything with my baby. I put him in the bed. I set out his clothes for the next morning. I didn't do anything to him. I want to help tell your story. Like I said, you know, you're a normal person. You have 3 kids. You obviously love them. You know, you talk about you bathing them that night, playing with them, putting them to bed. That shows a caring mother. I didn't do anything with him. And if I didn't, just like I told my mother, y'all would have already had him. And I would already be behind bars myself. But I didn't do anything to that child. I didn't question. Are you sure that you shut that door? Are you sure that you shut it all the way? If you don't shut it all the way, the thing would just stop coming. Right. I don't know. You gotta push it really hard. I was loopy on my medication. Loopy as hell. I had to use Life 360 just to make sure that my times were right about when I left the house and got home. Right.
Oh my God.
And you know, that helps set up the timeline. But like I said, you're not being 100% completely honest with us. And I want to help Leilani tell her story about what happened, right? You know, when we have circumstances like this, you know, sometimes things happen. We don't mean them to. Doesn't make us a bad person. But this has been in the news a lot, right? It's been all over. You know, it's, you know. I've been harassed at the hospital about it. Got people up in my face yelling at me. What did they say at the hospital? What did they say? You're not worthy of being a mother. If anything should have happened to anybody, it should have happened to you. Right. So I said, I agree. Let me tell you about it. Let me go over that with you, okay? You have an opportunity to tell me what happened, because that's how society's going to see you. It is Leilani, this monster that deliberately did this, or was Leilani just in a situation that got out of control, right? And it was out of control before she knew it, right? And there was no coming back from it. I didn't do anything to him. I'm not. I was supposed to understand. I was in my bed. Daddy said he shook me. He said he checked on the kids. He said he'd seen them all. That's what he told me when I called him at 9-something, screaming that I couldn't find my baby. So here's your statement, Leilani. I read through it. And it's like a note down here. It says, please do everything possible to bring our little man home, right? Bring him home to me, please. And that's what we're trying to do, right? And you can keep denying all this and sticking to that story. But both you and I know that you can make that happen. If I could, I already would have. Right? You can make this happen. If I could, I already would have. You absolutely can make this happen. I can't. Because I don't know where he is, and I don't know what happened to him. Do I believe that something happened that night? Yes. Was it me? No. It was not. Okay, so let's talk about that. What was it? I don't know. He was asleep before I left the house at all after we picked him up. He was asleep in that playpen. Then he verified that too. Okay, so let's talk about that. So, let's talk about that. Let me go grab that and I'll be right back, okay? Is that cool? Because you brought it up, we'll talk about it, okay? Let me make sure they can look at this.
I'm sorry, you lost me at the website.
Let's go over some things.
You lost me at the website. I'm sorry.
You keep saying when we're talking about
I want to see how I should freeze it up.
right? You keep talking about who was there the first time you came back. Yeah, he was there every time. Okay. Well, let's talk about the second time you came back. He was there. I went outside to smoke a cigarette before I did. I checked on all the kids. Like, we were just there in the space. He went to put down the blanket, throw them up to it. I went outside to smoke my cigarette and I went inside on the bed. timeline, Showmaster, when you drive through the trailer park and you park, that's not in any of your statements. Your statements already went to the Chevron.
Next to the Zillion.
Okay.
That's when I was
So-
going around. I didn't think I had to explain how I pulled it out and left. That's the only reason that wasn't in there. I didn't think I had to explain how I pulled out and left. I just had to explain where I went.
Right, well, it's completely different, right? So let's go through when you got back. What did you do?
Oh, went outside, smoked a cigarette, went to bed. That was after I checked on Ben, and Zane, and Scott. All three.
All three.
I checked on all three of them.
Okay, so the second time you came back, Quinton was in his bed.
This was his weapon.
And
He had his hair hanging out in front of his face right here. I knew that his face had okay, rolled over, and he grabbed a blanket and he was asleep.
right. And you keep mentioning that you were loopy. Why were you loopy if you're on ibuprofen?
Because they had
Because ibuprofen
they
is
injected my mouth with 3 different shots
Right.
when they gave it to me. One was to kind of sedate me, one was to numb it. I don't know what the other one was.
Okay. Well, those are all surface pain medicines, right? Did you do the surgery?
I don't know. Those
But ibuprofen doesn't make you loopy.
I was like, that the medicine and
Oh, she's
everything
really
that they had, and they had put work.
She's really
They
trying to.
twice of it
That means
because
she's trying to hide the Percocet.
So we need to unmask what it is that happened, right? And we gotta get there.
Yes.
And you have to help me do that.
I'm helping everything I can. I did not leave my baby. He was in my bed when I went to sleep, and when I got up, he was gone. When I called Daniel and asked him, is for some reason, did you just take the train to the babysitters? Or what? Where's he at? Where's my baby? And he said, no, he was there when I left the house. I was like, well, he's not here now. So he left work. I called babysitter.
Well, we've gone over that several times, right? And that's the story you keep So it says dining room sensor left open. Yeah. Okay, that could mean the door's not completely just shut off. It's not that it's wide open, it's just that you may not be locked.
He said that it was like locked. Like it didn't show that it was open.
Okay, so the second time you came back, you saw Quinton.
Yes, he was laying down there.
Describe Quinton for me.
He was laying there. At first it was like this. He has hair. He's got curly hair with paint all over his eyes. So when I moved out his leg, he would roll it over, grab his leg, and went to sleep. Not back to sleep.
And you talked a couple times about the color of his skin.
Yes, his little cheeks, they're red, like a pink red.
Pink?
Yeah,
Are they normally pink?
Yeah, normally. He normally has some type of color to him. Normally, he's just an active child. But the way he was sleeping or whatever, the playpen, I was thinking maybe it was pushing up against his cheek or something. But he was fine. He was moving, breathing. He rolled over. His little cheeks, it's just like he was sleeping good, you know? He was just fine. Woke up and wasn't there.
And you talked about how you could see like something could happen like this. Why would you think that? Like sometimes in these situations, people blame themselves, right?
I blame myself because what if I didn't shut that door all the way?
We're not talking about the door, we're talking about Quinton, right?
Yeah.
Something happened to Quinton.
But I didn't do it.
Right? But you agree, something happened.
Everybody agrees something happened.
And we have to
figure out what, and I'm not the one who is what.
You are part of it.
I know I'm part of it, but I'm not the one who did anything to him. I did not take him anywhere. I didn't do anything. I think it was
I understand you get emotional. When we start talking about getting down to really what happened, when you start getting really, really emotional, I get it, right? There's a lot, Leilani, you're holding on to, and that's got to be hard.
I'm not
right?
the only thing.
You're holding on to so much right now.
I'm not holding on to anything. I've been open about everything.
You're holding on to so much right now, and I don't know how you're doing that. Like I said, I want you to help me understand where you were at that night, right? And how we got to this point, right? And
I said everything I could. I cannot tell you what happened while I was asleep. I don't know.
This didn't happen while you were asleep.
It has to. He was there when I went to bed.
You can't get loopy off ibuprofen.
That wasn't the ibuprofen. It was whatever they injected my mouth with.
Okay.
It's whatever that was. It wasn't the ibuprofen. It's whatever they injected my mouth with. Okay? Which is why I couldn't even drive home from getting it removed. I wasn't allowed to drive. Danny had to drive me.
Okay. And so we're talking that was like 4:30 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
And so now we're talking about...
It's later at night. I'm tired. I'm getting sore.
A lot of hours later, right?
I'm tired. I'm getting sore now.
Has worn off and
I go to lay down. I was tired too. It was the night before. I was up all night. Went to the hospital because of pain. Yeah. Before I went and got to the
so in these situations, and I've already told you this, people get in these situations and they don't make good things happen, but sometimes it does. Bad things do happen, and sometimes bad things happen to people that are the sweetest and nicest people, right?
I didn't take anything to cause my baby to go missing.
Right. And you keep saying that over and over and over, and I get as a human being, right, that we don't want to be responsible for something.
I'm not responsible for what happened to him.
Especially for, our own child, right? But if we can't protect them then, right, we got to protect them now. Like I said, I want to keep your promise. You said, you want to find them, right? Help me help you
Now, did that interview come to an end shortly after what we just watched there?
Yes, it did.
Thank you. And I have some more questions, but maybe this would be a good stopping point.
We'll stop here.
All right.
I know we have a ways to go as far as the testimony. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's stop here. We're going to break for lunch. I'm going to remind you once again, do not discuss the case. Do not do any research.
Yes.
Do not consume any media, watch any stories. Do not allow anyone to talk with you about the case.
Definitely.
We're going to break now, and it's 1:20. I know y'all have a very short walk. We're going to be ready to go at 2.
I think they should be back soon. I don't know what time is 2 o'clock Eastern time. That will be 8, I believe, UK time. So they'll be back around. No, am I right by that? I think that's a fair assessment. And we're gonna stop here. I'll load up part 3, and yeah, when they're back in court. All right, this is a good stopping point. But before we do stop, I just want to say that so far, I think the text messages, as well as the suicide attempt video, the unaliving attempt video, as well as the what is it called, as well as the internet search, has completely done her in. Like, it's over at this point. I do not see a way back. I do not actually see a way back for her at this point, because there is no justifying this. How do you justify this at all? How do you even begin to I can't see it. But yeah, we'll be back for part 3 when they're back from the breaks. All right, I'll see you soon. The show is over, but that does not mean that the fun has to end.